The top stories tonight in Y News. A new warning from the OCTA Research Group tells that new daily COVID-19 cases in the Philippines could reach up to 10,000 in the coming weeks as more local cases of the Delta variant are detected in various regions.
A call for timeout. Medical workers in Ilocos Norte are appealing for strict community quarantine restrictions amid the surge of COVID-19 cases in the province.
Filipinos in Myanmar are being urged to evacuate now and return home as COVID-19 infections in the Southeast Asian nation near catastrophic levels.
The presidential and vice presidential tandem of Senator Panfilo Lacson and Senate President Vicente Sotto III eyes 5 more personalities to complete their senatorial lineup for the 2022 elections.
And Typhoon Fabian keeps enhancing the southwest monsoon while several areas are placed under signal number 1. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, July 22, 2021. I am Herlene Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am Mariela Toza.
First in the news. There has been a growing concern over the pandemic situation in Metro Manila as COVID-19 cases surged. The OCTA Research Group fears that if the transmission of infection continues, the daily cases in the capital may reach to 10,000. Meanwhile, more local cases of the more transmissible Delta variant were detected. 2 of them are in the Calabarzon region. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The current reproduction number in the National Capital Region is now at 1.15 from 0.91 last July 15 to 21. This means a person infected with COVID-19 can infect more than one individual. The spike in cases seen in some regions seem like to be the start of a COVID-19 surge during the first quarter of 2021.
We're seeing an increase in cases which is similar to the increase we saw last February. Maybe it's too early to call it a surge, pero we should not wait for it to become a surge before we act on it. So it's better if we are cautious, we act on this now and make preparations, make interventions.
If COVID-19 surge happens, hospitals will be overwhelmed again and additional manpower of healthcare workers will be needed. The research fellow projected the number of new cases in the country may reach up to 10,000 cases in the coming weeks. OCTA Research Group calls on the government to be proactive to prevent another COVID-19 surge to occur in the Philippines.
It was definitely a surge by February 26 or February 24 to 26. And then last time nag-ECQ tayo, March 28. This was 1 month after. So medyo delayed yung response natin before. We shouldn't wait that long this time. We can act quickly. It can still be curbed. It can still be mitigated.
Professor David of OCTA believes that one cause of surge in NCR is due to Delta variant.
And based on the evidence that there are local cases of the Delta variant in Manila, in the NCR, there is sufficient cause to suspect that at least part of this is driven by the Delta variant. And we know that the Delta variant is rapidly spreading.
According to Secretary Francisco Duque III, they cannot confirm it yet, but there is a possibility of local transmission of Delta in the country.
We cannot say that, but it's good to assume there is. Okay, as we ramp up our response, our capacities, we need to assume na meron na local transmission. But there is yet no evidence to establish because investigations are ongoing to link these identified local cases to an international traveler who might have brought it in. And once you are able to establish that, then mas maganda because, of course, it doesn't mean that only just because ma-link mo siya to an international traveler, you let your guards down. You don't. That's why you continue to assume that there is transmission.
Meanwhile, today there are new cases of COVID-19 variant in the Philippines. There are additional 187 alpha variants, 142 beta variants, and 12 P.3 alert for further monitoring variant cases. There are also 12 local cases of Delta variant detected. There are now 47 Delta cases in the Philippines, 3 have died. World Health Organization warns that Delta variant may be dominant in 124 countries with Delta cases in 2 months' time. According to the DOH, the government is preparing for possible surge due to Delta. Aside from oxygen supply, hospital and facility beds are expanded. The DOH says intensified and strict border control in the country should not be eased, so Delta variant will not be dominant. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Cases of the Delta variant are now spreading across the country, with new local cases detected in the Calabarzon region. But what can the government and the public do to possibly prevent another surge of COVID-19 cases, even if more Filipinos are getting vaccinated? Rosa Licos filed this report.
As Delta variant cases in the Philippines increase, concerns on another COVID-19 surge grow. Biological Sciences Professor Nicanor Austriaco believes the COVID-19 crisis being embattled by Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia does not have to happen in the Philippines if the public and the national government will be able to do certain steps hand in hand.
It will not happen if we do not lose control of the pandemic, and this is where we as a country, if we control the pandemic well with contact tracing, with testing, with isolation quarantine, and with liberal use of lockdowns, if we can do this, we will not lose control. We will not have people dying in our hospitals.
The public is urged to strictly adhere to health protocols such as wearing a face mask and face shields, social distancing, avoiding crowds, especially indoors, and getting vaccinated. Meanwhile, Professor Austriaco also urged the government to monitor the situation of local government units with high COVID-19 cases. LGU should intensify their contact tracing, implement localized lockdowns quickly, prepare isolation and quarantine facilities, and avoid home quarantine. The national government, on the other hand, should prepare the hospitals and healthcare workers and must prepare to increase mobility restrictions. Also, the palace reiterates calls to eligible citizens to get vaccinated.
Punta na po kayo sa ating mga centers, mag-register at magpabakuna na rin po, lalong-lalo na dahil mayroong mas nakakahawa at mas nakakamatay na Delta variant.
From the data of Malacanang, as of July 21, 2021, 15.9 million doses of vaccines have already been administered in the country, 10.7 million doses for the first dose, and 5.2 million for the second dose. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
President Rodrigo Duterte was not exposed to his youngest son, Davao City Vice Mayor Sebastian Baste Duterte, who has tested positive for COVID-19. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the president is concerned about his son's condition. It was Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio who confirmed that her brother has been infected with the virus.
Wala po akong alam na close contact si Presidente. No? And second question is, of course, the President is concerned as a father. Bagamat one thing going for Vice Mayor is siya po'y bata at malusog. No? Talaga naman pong immune system ang lumalaban dito sa COVID-19. No?
Health workers in Ilocos Norte have appealed for a timeout as the province's healthcare system is feared to collapse amid the surge of COVID-19 cases. Medical groups are now requesting to place the entire province under stricter community quarantine restrictions. Marvin Calas will give us the details live. Marvin, are these issues addressed now to the national government? If yes, what would be their actions?
Diego, the Department of Health said they have not received any requests yet from the provincial government of Ilocos Norte in relation to the demand of additional health workers. But as early as now, the Department of Health is getting ready to send health workers in the province.
We will address that. We will send neighboring healthcare workers to help, as we have done in Cebu, as we have done in Davao, as we have done in many other areas that experience surge. We complemented, as we have done in NCR. We got healthcare workers from Mindanao and the Visayas facilities to complement our very limited healthcare workers.
Due to a large number of COVID-19 patients confined in the provincial hospital, some of the nurses and doctors at Mariano Marcos Memorial Medical Center were also infected with the disease. The said medical center is a COVID-19 referral center in Ilocos Norte. Yesterday, the provincial government decided to re-implement the modified enhanced community quarantine under several cities and municipalities in the province starting tomorrow, July 23. On a Facebook post, Ilocos Norte Governor Matthew Marcos Monotoc identified Batac City and the municipalities of Bangi, Dingras, Dumalneg, Marcos, Pagudpod, Paway, Pasukin, and Solsona to undergo MECQ. The governor also declared a curfew from 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. Meanwhile, an additional 1.5 million doses of Sinovac vaccines arrived in the country this morning, and another 1.5 million doses tomorrow, making it a total of 16 million doses of Sinovac vaccines in the country. Moreover, a half million doses of Pfizer vaccine have arrived yesterday as the first batch of the government-procured vaccines from the Pfizer-BioNTech. Another 3 million doses of Moderna vaccines donated by the United States are also expected to arrive, including other brands of vaccines that are scheduled to arrive before the end of the month.
Ginagawa namin ngayon is nagkakaroon tayo ng equitable distribution. At the same time, meron tayong focus and expand. Yun ang strategy natin eh. So meron tayong allocation sa share plus 8 and meron tayong equitable distribution sa mga provinces.
That's the latest live. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you for that report, Marvin Calas.
BioNTech's Pfizer and Oxford's AstraZeneca showed high efficacy results against the more transmissible Delta variant, according to a study. RK Lorca will give us the details live. RK?
Mariel, as the highly contagious COVID strain now dominating worldwide, health officials assured the public that Pfizer and AstraZeneca vaccines are highly effective against the Delta variant, as how they are effective to the previous dominating Alpha variant. This originates from the study published by the Public Health of England in the New England Journal of Medicine last May about efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines based on real-world data. Yesterday, another study has been found that 2 doses of Pfizer shot was 88% effective at preventing symptomatic disease against Delta variant compared to the 93.7% of its effectiveness against the Alpha variant. 2 shots of Oxford's AstraZeneca vaccine was 67% effective against Delta compared to the 74.5% of its effectiveness against the Alpha variant. The Public Health England researchers added that there were only modest differences noted in the vaccine effectiveness of the 2 vaccines with the Delta variant as compared with the Alpha variant upon the receipt of 2 vaccine doses. However, the researchers of the WHO study published on Wednesday reiterated that 1 shot of each vaccine is not enough for high protection. Marielle?
RK, do we also have the data on the effectiveness rate for those who just got 1 shot of each vaccines?
Yes, Marielle. The Public Health England had previously said that a first dose of either vaccine was just around 33% effective against symptomatic disease from the Delta variant. So, Marielle, it is suggested that health officials should suggest efforts to maximize vaccine uptake to complete 2 doses, most especially to the most vulnerable groups. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, RK, for that live report.
For those watching our 24/7 live streaming on YouTube, please Please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. Only 8 senators will physically attend the final State of the Nation Address, or SONA, of President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday, July 26. Based on the list shared to the media, the senators who will be physically present are Senate President Vicente Sotto III, Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri, Senator Ronald De La Rosa, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo, Senator Amy Marcos, Senator Ramon Bong Revilla Jr., Senator Francis Tolentino. Soto said senators who have not manifested their intention to attend the SONA physically will be hearing Duterte's address virtually. The Office of the Senate Secretary earlier said that lawmakers and their staff who will attend Duterte's SONA should be fully vaccinated and should yield negative results for COVID-19, RT-PCR, and antigen tests. Attendees will be required to present their vaccination cards indicating that they have completed their doses 2 weeks prior to the President's SONA. They are also required to undergo RT-PCR tests 2 days before the event, an antigen test on Monday at the Batasan Pambansa Complex. SONA attendees will also be required to wear Presidential Security Group prescribed face masks and face shields embedded with QR codes while inside the plenary building.
Meanwhile, several groups fear over the recent terrorist designation of the CPP, NPA, NDF by the Anti-terrorism Council. According to them, soon they might be tagged as terrorists. Dante Amento tells us why.
The terrorist designation by the government's Anti-terrorism Council has a chilling effect or will cause fear to the public to exercise their right of expression. Kabataan Party List spokesperson Raul Manuel says the recent terrorist designation against Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front, or CPP, NPA, NDF may affect them.
Isa po kami sa mga pwede talagang maapektuhan yan given na Kabataan Party List, of course, other party list in Makabayan Bloc ay laging dinidikit sa mga organizations na nabanggit, yung CPP, NPA, NPF.
The NTF-LCAC is allegedly being used to tag critical to the government as terrorist individuals or organizations through the anti-terrorism law.
Yung definition nila ng radicalization, mag-explain ka lang tungkol sa issue, maging critical sa gobyerno, tingin nila doon, radicalization na, ididikit na nila yon doon sa armed rebel movement at tatawagin ka ng terorista.
Chilling effect mararamdaman natin siya lalo na kapag on ground tayo yung effect niyan sa mga farmers na sa halip na magbuo ng organizations para ipaglaban yung right nila sa lupa, magdadalawang isip sila na gawin yun kasi pwedeng pagbintangan sila na sila ay rebelde o worse ay terrorista sila.
But in an oral argument over the petitions against the Anti-Terror Act, Supreme Court Associate Justice Marvick Leonen argued that the law has no chilling effect to some progressive groups and individuals. In fact, protest rallies increase after the ratification of the law.
When did Professor Dr. J. Batumbakal stop teaching?
He is not stopping teaching, Your Honor.
In fact, he even went to the front lines in the UPDND Accord rally. Is that not correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And therefore, he was not actually chilled or feared. He's not afraid, correct?
Well, may I disagree, Your Honor?
What about Professor Duterte, also your client, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he stop talking about criticisms about this government because
no,
of the anti-terror law?
No one can stop
He did
Professor
not.
Te, no?
Yes. He keeps on speaking, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Meanwhile, some groups such as Bayan, Kabataan, I Defend are determined to pursue their protest activities during the President's State of the Nation Address or SONA on Monday. But currently, they are still negotiating with the Philippine National Police.
Umaasa kami na yung PNP ay tutupad dun sa naging usapan. Malinaw po yung naging parameters at susundin naman. Sabi nga namin, paulit-ulit kami nagsabing good faith we will comply with the health protocols. In fact, mas stricto pa yung pagpapatupad natin.
Similar to the previous SONA of the President, they will have a unity march to the Batasan and will burn an effigy of the President to denounce his alleged desire to remain in power beyond 2022. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A bill that seeks the creation of a renewable power corporation has been filed in the House of Representatives that aims to address the high power supply demand in the Philippines during the dry season. Nel Maribohok reports.
Members of the House Committee on Energy are seeking answers from the Department of Energy on the power supply situation in the country. As the May 2022 elections draw near, lawmakers feared that the country may again experience power shortage. According to House Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez, the DOE seems don't have a plan to look for an alternative source of energy.
Because of your coal moratorium, should have a program to really accelerate RE, because we cannot just stop the coal and we have no program to substitute the coal power energy.
During dry season starting April, the country experienced thin power supply due to high demand and unscheduled maintenance of some power plants. According to the Philippine National Oil Company Renewable Corporation, it is high time to consider renewable energy using wind turbines or solar panel to produce electricity.
Rotating brownouts are proof of the need of more RE. To date, the provinces of Batangas, Mindoro, Palawan, and other provinces have been experiencing rotating brownouts.
Director Mylene Capongcol of the DOE's Renewable Energy Bureau said the agency has an energy transition roadmap. She said they have implemented ways to fast-track renewable energy projects.
Is our implementation of what we call the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop to really address those barriers in the RE development, particularly not only on the RE but on the power development as far as permits and licensing is concerned.
Because of the power supply problem, House Bill number 9544 was filed in the lower house that seeks to establish Renewable Energy Corporation. This government-controlled corporation has the power to construct, install, operate, and maintain renewable energy generation facilities.
We cannot leave this anymore to the private sector. They are slow because there are so many what you call bureaucratic requirements, and the pandemic has likewise slackened the speed.
Based on the bill, the initial funding requirement of the corporation is 5 billion pesos. The proposed law is in the committee level of the lower house. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Foreign Affairs has declared an alert level 4 in Myanmar, urging all Filipinos in the country to evacuate and return to the Philippines immediately. This as the COVID-19 situation in the Southeast Asian country is nearing catastrophic level. Janice Enhente explains why.
Philippine Ambassador to Myanmar Eduardo Capunan Jr. appeals to the Filipinos to avail of the repatriation program of the government. This as the COVID-19 situation in Myanmar continues to worsen due to the Delta variant. According to Capunan, the country's healthcare system is close to reaching its maximum capacity and may not be able to provide adequate medical attention to Filipinos who become ill in the coming weeks.
Totoo po yun. In fact, yan po ang personal experience ng dalawang Pilipino na nasawi. Dinala sila sa ospital. Wala nang kwarto po sa COVID ward nila. Pero sa hospital, nakakuha po tayo ng isang kwarto. Pero hindi na po preparado yung kwarto na for COVID as a COVID facility. Sa ibang occasions po, pagka nag-report ka sa klinika nila sa COVID, at kung nakitaan ka lang nila ng mild na symptoms, pauwiin ka nila at doon ka na lang mag-quarantine sa bahay ninyo.
Based on data collected by the Philippine Embassy, as of July 20, there are 70,070 active COVID-19 cases in Myanmar, with over 6,000 new cases recorded daily.
Kapunan added that many health workers who were part of the coup movement cannot return to work over fears of getting arrested by the military junta. The Department of Foreign Affairs has placed Myanmar under Alert Level 4, meaning all Filipinos must evacuate immediately.
Ang amin pong narrative sa mga Pilipino, mabuti kung umuwi kayo ngayon habang hindi pa nadideklara na talagang nadideklara ng WHO ng Myanmar ay masyadong malala na dahil sa aabutan nyo sa Pilipinas na quarantine procedures might be more stringent than the normal.
Filipinos can avail of the embassy's repatriation flights, which will be mounted on August 3. For those who want to avail the repatriation flight, just register at this link or contact the Philippine Embassy in Myanmar directly. Meanwhile, despite the COVID-19 surge in Malaysia, no Filipino has come to the embassy to ask for assistance.
With this emergence of the Delta variant, so far we have not received any request for hospitalization assistance from Filipinos who have been infected by the COVID-19 virus, especially by the Delta variant.
The government has yet to decide whether to include Malaysia and Myanmar in the travel ban due to Delta variant threat. Janice Enhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippines logged 5,828 new cases of novel coronavirus disease, bringing the nationwide tally to 1,530,266. The Department of Health, or DOH, said that the country's tally of active cases went up to 50,562. Of this number, 92.7% are mild, 1.74% are moderate, 1.6% are asymptomatic, 2.5% are severe, and 1.5% are in critical condition. The DOH said the 5 accredited testing laboratories failed to submit their data on time. The DOH also reported 3,257 additional recoveries, pushing the total to 1,452,813. The death toll climbed to 26,891 with 17 new fatalities. Data from the DOH also showed that 54% of the country's ICU beds are occupied and 37% of ventilators are being used.
The results of the C-130 plane crash in Patikul, Sulu that killed more than 50 people will not be released this month. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
Philippine Air Force or PAF Public Affairs Office Chief Lieutenant Colonel Maynard Mariano still awaits the results of the analysis of the flight data recorder or the black box of the ill-fated Philippine Air Force C-130 aircraft that crashed in Patikul, Sulu last July 4. The black box was sent to the United States of America on the second week of July, and the PAF hopes to receive the results by August. Aside from the black box, parts of the C-130 plane were sent in Mactan, Cebu to undergo a thorough study.
I-examine nila bawat parte ng eroplano na yun, and they will try to find out if will there be an indication na mapapakita sa atin kung anong nangyari talaga sa eroplano.
Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Mariano said 20 of the 49 soldiers killed in the mishap are still unidentified.
As of now, hindi pa po nakilala lahat kasi hinintay yung mga DNA testing ng mga mga kasama po doon. As of last count was about 29 na po yung na-confirm na nakilala.
Relatives of the victims have already processed the requirements for them to receive the pension and benefits allocated to them. Leah Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
After confirming the Lacson-Sotto tandem in the 2022 elections, Senate President Vicente Sotto has revealed their possible senatorial slate. According to Sotto, they are now looking at various experienced individuals to complete the possible lineup. Eileen Delgado will tell us why.
10 names are now on the list of possible senatorials to be endorsed by the Lacson-Sotto tandem for the 2022 polls. They are former Senators J.V. Ejercito, Cheese Escudero, Senators Win Gatchalian, Richard Gordon, DICT Secretary Gregorio Honasan, former COMELEC Commissioner Gregorio Larrazabal, House Deputy Speaker Loren Legarda, Leyte 4th District Representative Lucy Torres Gomez, Senators Joel Villanueva, and Mig Zubiri. According to Senate President Vicente Sotto III, most of the names have agreed to be included in the list except for Senator Gordon, who has yet to respond to his message. Sotto clarifies that the lineup may still change should some of them change their minds. He cited Senator Gordon, who is considering running for president, and Senator Gatchalian, who might also run for vice president.
It doesn't necessarily mean na exclusive, dahil kung gusto silang i-adapt ng ibang partido, okay lang. Walang problema, it's up to them. Pero sa tingin namin, sila yung may mga karapatan. Sila yung may mga na bumalik sa Senado.
Sotto bears that they are currently looking at 4 to 5 experienced personalities to complete their Magic 12.
Meron kaming kausap na malaking tao na baka sa Sabado magkasundo kami.
The Senate President says their party, the Nationalist People's Coalition or NPC, will have a meeting next week to talk about the slate and the possible alliances. He notes that the party has been careful in choosing their allies due to differences in the past. For now, talks are underway with Partido Reforma and Acción Democrático. Sotto cannot confirm yet the possibility of alliances with the ruling party PDP Laban, the opposition Liberal Party, and even Isang Bayan coalition.
Nadala na kami. Nung araw kasi, meron kaming coalition, hindi ka alliance coalition with LP, with PDP Laban. Pagkatapos mga kandidato namin na incumbent, pinapalabanan nila. Hindi pa pwede yun.
Sotto is also confident that their party will not suffer the same fate as PDP Laban on the issue of choosing the standard bearer.
We're always united. Hindi namin naabutin yung ganun. We can decide what is best for the party always.
The senator also maintains he and Lacson will remain unfazed should the possible Duterte-Duterte tandem also vie for the top post. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Trucks of garbage were washed ashore in Manila Bay, particularly where the dolomite sand were dumped. Despite the efforts to protect the sand, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources says it does not require high maintenance. Asher Cadapan Jr. explains why live. Yes, Asher.
With the absence of garbage, the dolomite sand needs no maintenance. Environment Secretary Roy Simato clarifies this as cleanup drive is being conducted to collect the junks on the shore of the dolomite sand dumped in Manila Bay.
At saka hindi naman na mataas ang maintenance yan na hindi nga kung walang basura talaga, hindi mo naman kailangan i-maintain yun. So i-prevent yung basura.
As incessant rains hit Metro Manila, the Department of Public Services of the City of Manila collected at least 6 trucks of garbage from the dolomite sand area in Manila Bay. Most of them are composed of debris of bamboo, tree branches, water hyacinths, and assorted trash like plastic bottles, styrofoams, among others. Due to the incident, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources locates the possible source of the garbage. Secretary Simato identifies the coastal area of Cavite province as the most probable source of the majority of the debris.
Ito yung nakakaproblema. Marami tayong nasasagap dyan na bambus dyan sa Baywalk. Kung saan nanggaling nandun lahat sa Pispen. Nagtanong ako kung may permit sila. Wala.
The DNR Secretary also plans to conduct water sampling in the fish pen areas to check its fecal coliform level. Simato reveals that some fisher folks live by the fish pens, which may have contributed to water pollution in Manila Bay. The agency also instructs the local government units in Cavite regarding the possible garbage being thrown in river streams in Cavite while with their source as far as Tagaytay City and ends in Manila Bay. Arlene Secretary Simaru emphasizes the need for discipline in every citizen. The DNR has also advised the LGUs to improve their law enforcement against improper disposal of garbage. Arlene?
Thank you, Asher Kadapan Jr. reporting live. And for our weather update. Typhoon Fabian continues to move slowly westward. State Weather Bureau Pagasa said as of 4 p.m., the center of Fabian was located at 505 kilometers northeast of Itbayat, Batanes. It has maximum sustained winds of 150 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 185 kilometers per hour while slowly moving westward. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 has been raised over Batanes and Babuyan Islands, where strong winds are expected within 36 hours. According to Pag-asa, the typhoon is unlikely to bring heavy rainfall in the country throughout the forecast period. However, the southwest monsoon that is being enhanced by Fabian will cause monsoon rains in the next 24 hours over Ilocos region, Abra, Benguet, Zambales, Bataan, Tarlac, Pampanga, Bulacan, Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Occidental Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and the northern portion of Palawan, including Calamian and Kalayaan Islands. Fabian is forecast to further intensify and reach its peak intensity of up to 155 to 165 kilometers per hour tonight. The typhoon may exit the Philippine area of responsibility tomorrow evening or Saturday morning. Several Filipinos noticed a delay of weather alert text from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council as the country continues to experience torrential rains. The NDRRMC admits there is a problem in their system. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Michael Bilic resides in Malabon City, which is frequently experiencing floods when torrential downpours affect the area. Yesterday, July 21, Bilic received a 9:45 a.m. orange rainfall warning from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or NDRRMC past 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. The NDRRMC warning advisory was almost 5 hours and 12 hours delayed.
Ang warning syempre, pinapaalala po yan bago po mangyari ang isang sitwasyon. Tapos lalo gaya nito, may kalamidad po. So kung may inaasahan po tayo ng water rainfall sa 9:45 a.m., siguro po mga before 9:45 a.m., ma-advise na po yung mga tao upang magawa na po nila yung kaukulang pag-iingat na kailangan gawin ng bawat isa.
Romico Nepa experienced the same issue. He received the NDRRMC warning almost 1 p.m.
Isang mahalagang bagay po sa amin yun na malaman namin agad. Lalo na po, nakatira po ako sa isang lugar na mababa na laging binabaha. Kaya sana po, sa uulitin po, sana time to time po namin marireceive ang iyong mga babala at para makapag-ingat po kami o makalikas na po sa lalong madaling panahon.
The NDRRMC admits technical issues on their system which causes the delayed messages. However, they are already fixing the bugs. NDRRMC spokesperson Mark Timbal says they will also need to upgrade their system.
Meron po talagang nalilate. It's part of the things na kailangan pang i-improve sa system kasi alam niyo naman million po ang mga subscribers. Yung ginagawa po ng mga kasama natin sa telco ay nire-remedyohan pa po nila ito. Kasi minsan sa sobrang dami ng pinapadalhan ng mensahe, may batch po ito, meron nahuhuli. Tapos nagkakaroon ng network congestion, hindi ka agad nare-receive ng supposed na recipient.
As of now, the NDRRMC is communicating with telecommunication companies for their upgrade in giving public warning advisory through text messaging. But the council explains that aside from text messages, there is also other means on how they give warning to public. They also post warning advisory on their social media accounts, such in Twitter and Facebook. They continuously coordinate to local government through municipal disaster risk reduction and management offices to give advice to public if there are storms or natural calamities. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, The city of Liverpool in England, with a number of historical landmarks and also the home of the 1960s famous band, the Beatles, was now delisted from its status as a World Heritage Site. Joselito Liquido tells us why live. Joselito?
Riel, once the busiest port in the world in the 18th to 19th century, Liverpool City, marked as a World Heritage Site in 2004, has been stripped off from its status following new developments found in the city's waterfront. The move came with a warning in 2017, 5 years after UNESCO listed the city under World Heritage in Danger due to the proposed construction of Liverpool Waters Project. New developments in the city's famous docks Pier Head could potentially create at least 17,000 full-time jobs. However, after a vote by members of the World Heritage Committee ensued, UNESCO made a decision saying that the new developments undermine the authenticity and integrity of the Victorian docks. Liverpool Mayor Joanne Anderson called the decision incomprehensible and said that the city would explore ways to appeal. Meanwhile, Mayor of the wider Liverpool region, Steve Rotherham, said the decision was a retrograde step that does not reflect the reality of what is happening on the ground. Marielle?
Thank you, Joselito, for that live report.
After 32 years, the Summer Olympics Games will be back in Australia for the third time, as Brisbane City was picked to host the 2032 Games. Paul Gatchalian tells us the details live. Yes, Paul.
Arlene, the International Olympic Committee announced the decision that the 2032 Olympic Games will be held in Australia, and this time in the city of Brisbane, Queensland. The decision was made on Wednesday after Brisbane remained the only bid city competing and endorsed by the International Olympic Committee. Australia has previously hosted two games, Melbourne in 1956 and Sydney in 2000. In celebration of the ecstatic news, fireworks in the heart of the city lit up the Brisbane night sky as a crowd of audiences watched the performance. The Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison joins in the celebration, expressing his pride.
Congratulations. The 2032 Games, the Paralympics, are coming to Brisbane in 2032. It's been a great partnership to get us to this point. A lot of work to do to go into the future. But Australia, once again, Brisbane, right up front, will be the showcase for what an amazing nation we are.
Brisbane follows 2028 host Los Angeles in getting 11 years to prepare for hosting the Games. Paris will host in 2024. The 2032 Games is expected to cost approximately $5 billion and is anticipated to be recovered from ticket sales, domestic sponsorships, and broadcast rights. Harleen?
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live. And before we close, we will leave you with the final word, giving glory to God. From the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 22, it says, "And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive."
And those are the reasons behind the news, July 22, 2021. I am Mariela Toza, sitting in for William Theo, live from Perth, Australia.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Harleen Delgado. We serve the people, we give glory to God.